such an asshole.
All right, we got to get to the requests here because Dre decided to pay for 4. Where is it? What happened here? Where'd you go, Dre? Here you are. All right, he sent me one. He says, request number 1, the no trust, low trust economy / society. Think of this as the next step down from a broken window economy, low trust society and low competency society combined, aka the direction of the West. I've come up with a term called trust per capita that should help out, but you're the economist, 175 IQ. And I said, what's the one? I said, I need to know your precise question for number 1. He says, how would a no trust economy society function? It wouldn't. Good night, everybody. I'll give you a basic economic thing. You cannot have transactions. You cannot have commerce. You cannot have wealth production, which is all wealth production is, I'm going to do this thing assuming you pay me, right? Under the presumption you pay me, I will do this thing. But if you're not going to pay me, I'm not going to do the thing. This is why honor and integrity, though boring, is tremendously important to an economy. And you know how I talk about the mistake economy. A lot of those mistakes come with people just not wanting to do their job or do it thorough. Again, Super Lube and Rapid City, South Dakota, they didn't tighten the bolt down all the way on the oil plug. My car was leaking oil. The presumption was I would give them money and they would change my oil, and they tightened the bolt down. They didn't do that. So now I have to do my own oil changes, right? And henceforth, there will be a lack of GDP, however small. Think of all the economic value that I was willing to pay a service for all future oil. What I got? 30 years left of life. Oh, oil is 30 oil changes times, wow, $50. That's $1,500. That seems awfully. Yeah, $1,500. So $1,500 of GDP times 300 million people. Now we're starting to talk real money, right? Something as simple as an oil change. Dentists. Talk about dentists later. Turns out a lot of them are recommending unnecessary procedures. People aren't going to go to the dentist no more. They're going to go to the Mexican dentists. U.S. loses out on GDP there too. So when it comes to having any economy at all, even if it's an illegal economy, the drug dealers, the Mexican cartels, there has to be some trust, right? You're going to pay me. If you don't, I'm going to kill you. And if you're not going to honor your word, you're not going to have trust, then there is no economy, none whatsoever. And so with a no trust, low trust society, yeah, no one's going to waste their time doing anything, because are you going to do your end? Are you going to pay me? Am I going to get robbed on the way home? Let's say you are the, make sure I got it. Is it Montgomery, Alabama? Want to make sure I got the right. I think it's right. Was it Huntsville? Hang on. Where's Birmingham? Huntsville. Oh, it's Huntsville. Okay, I'm sorry, Huntsville. Let's say you're like the biggest, fattest pig police department there ever was, right? The most incompetent, talentless hacks. Like you're just overpaid security guards because you're too busy being pigs, all right? You're supposed to protect and serve, but nah, not today. Why? Because you're the pig department of Huntsville, Alabama. What the hell? I don't know if there's any police at the Huntsville Police Department, you're like your actual beat cop, you actually do your job. I'm sorry, but I think you got like I don't know. It's a detective, I think. A dickless nutfuck wonder over there doesn't do his job. Maybe it's a lieutenant. I don't know. Do detectives, do you automatically make something? Anyway, all that money spent on the Huntsville, Alabama Police Department, no GDP, no nothing. If you're going to commit a crime, go to Huntsville, Alabama, because cops like, fuck, we don't care. Fuck it. Come on in. Woo-hoo. Pigs. All right, let me get there's Dre's request. So, um, yeah, so that's the basic. Once you lose trust, there's why would I get up and work? Why would I convert my labor into production? Depending how distrustful and corrupt the economy is, just freaking tanks. All right. So let's go to, and these are in no particular order. So I had to sit down and think what would happen. So first, it would become very insular and atomized, right? And a lot of this is already happening. I presume that's why you asked the question. Like, I don't go out there anymore. I can't trust the people of whatever, the store to have the thing I need in there. I shop on Amazon. I don't go to restaurants unless they're like the top 3 that I know are reliably there. I don't try new restaurants. Why would I do it? I'm not gonna go out there. And when I need things done, what do? I'm doing them myself. I'm changing my own oil. I'm doing my own car repairs. I'm doing my own carpentry because you cannot trust people. Right? I'm not even joking about this. Rapid City, South Dakota, build your own home. A lot of Wyoming here in South Dakota, just do your own shit. You can't rely on these people. Um, when it comes to kind of along the lines of you become more insular and atomized, you do need people, and so tribes will start to form, and they've real tribes back in the day had the American Indians. They actually had tribes. You can trust those people, but some kind of tribe or commune starts to form, and you've seen this throughout history. You got kibbutzes. You got the Amish, you got the Ammonites, you got communes. And so you'll start to see encampments of different people form, usually along the lines of religious or ethnic groups, but it could be a cartel or a gang too. Some kind of unifying flag they rally under and they form a tribe. So there'd be a lot more, okay, let's do some barn raising, or Jerry's water pump went out, let's go help him. But you're not from our tribe, get the fuck out of here. You will have the destruction of labor because you can't trust people to do the job right. That means you have to become a jack of all trades. So instead of me being an outstanding and excellent whatever credit analyst or economist, now I got to be a carpenter. Now I got to be a mechanic. Now I got to be a podcaster. Now I got to be a painter. Now I got to be a landscaper, right? Imagine this. Imagine if I could just focus on being a fucking economist, right? How good I could be. And then somebody focuses on being a really good landscaper and how good they could be. And the mechanics get their dick out of their sister's mouth, and they say, "Oh, what if I focused on being a mechanic in South Dakota?" Right? And imagine how good they could be if again they weren't fucking their sister. We could all have much higher quality goods and services at lower prices, but we can't because everyone has to be meh at everything. No marriage because you can't trust that person not to divorce you. Although, if there were no laws, like if there were, well, the government didn't care because it's not going to enforce the law. Why would he have? Why do we care that you don't want to marry this guy anymore? You want to divorce her? What do we care? So, depending on what the marriage laws are and whether or not the government was enforcing them, but generally in a low trust society, why would you commit to one person? Doesn't make any sense. There be less children unless, right? You don't trust society. You're not gonna if you love your children, you wouldn't bring them into society, right? You're like, I can't trust these people. I'm not gonna bring a child in here. Unless we're talking low quality people, right? Untrustworthy people. Well, shoot. You don't what if you don't care about your kid? Then you have all the kids and you spit them out because what do you care? The government will take care of them. Low trust society. Uh you'll if if it isn't already provided by your quote tribe, a lot of money would be spent on security. You can see this South Africa, very low trust society, high crime, government's corrupt. Um, you got to have a security guard go with you everywhere. There's walls and secured access. It doesn't sound fun. There's no investment. Why would you start a business? You can't trust anyone to show up on time or do the job right or people to pay. I mean, you know what, Dre? You really want, we already have our answer. A low trust, no trust society will look like San Francisco. It will look like Baltimore. It will look like, I'm trying to think of Seattle, Portland, where no one does their job. There's no honor. The Republic of Chaz. It's just going to be a shithole where crime is allowed to run rampant, and you better form teams and gangs to provide yourself a modicum of protection. And all the business has to be done within that team or the gang or that club. But yeah, that's kind of what a low trust society looks like. You can't trust people to do, and then no one invests, and you just have dregs and homeless people, and a city of parasites is basically what you got. Let me continue on. So yeah, there's going to be no investment because why would I invest in it? Um, any honor and agreement would go. Any kind of real production would be done in house. Would go underground and be within the group. Same thing as the cartel, the gang, your ethnic groups, your religious groups. You would need some kind of flag to rally under, like a belief. Okay, unless it's the Republic of Chaz, because that their whole thing. Seattle left. They all left. This was like, we don't want to work. Neither do we. Where's the food? Cartel's like, let's go make some money selling drugs. Yeah. Ethnic groups were going to help our. Oh, they had that back in America. What were they called? Some organizations. Like if you were an Irish immigrant and you came over, you joined the Irish Association or whatever, the Italian American Club, that kind of thing. Religions, you'd have the Catholics helping out Catholics and the Lutherans helping out anyone else but Lutherans. It's see what I did, Lutherans? Some good funny humor and joke. It's funny because it's true. We'll help out anyone but our own. Isn't that funny? Don't you let immigrants go have sex with your wives? Good Minnesota Lutherans, right? Oh, yeah, don't you know? Come on in now. Oh, that's a good joke. Let me see. Oh, you wouldn't have nice things. Why would you have that? Not only would nice things not be made, but why would you have them? People would just take them, right? So you very much like South Africa, you wouldn't flaunt your wealth at all. You wouldn't have it. Kind of related, you'd have capital flight. Any money that would be made, they're trying to get it out of the country so they can invest it just for capital preservation, not even to make money, just for capital preservation. And then you also have brain drain or labor flight. People who are smart enough or hardworking enough would leave. They say, forget it. We're going overseas. I want to get out of here. Why would I work in this? I mean, it's an economy. A society is really no different than a childhood neighborhood game. Like you got to have some rules. If you're not going to follow the rules, well, then there's no game. And since there's no rules and there's no enforcement, and you can't trust people to play by the rules, and everyone's going to cheat. Yeah, you're not going to have a game at all. And so people will be like, no, I want to go to where it's like fair and just. That's why people leave dictatorships and tyranny. Foreign investment would dry up. If your domestic people don't want to invest in your local economy, whether that's through money of their own and starting entrepreneurship or investing with their labor and their time, foreigners aren't going to want to invest. You wouldn't even have foreigners investing. And you kind of have a measure called the CPI, Corruptions Perceptions Index, Corruption Index. And it's interesting because China is horrendously corrupt, yet it was receiving tremendous amounts of foreign investment because they just had almost at one time an unexhaustible source of cheap labor. And then some people started finding out, oh my God, did you know the Chinese Communist Party, they're not communists, they're fascists, even though they claim they hate fascism, they're the same. Could you imagine that? The CCP stole your technology. Oh my girds. Oh my girds. The communists / fascists did the thing they always do. Oh my girds. Your courts would be pointless. They'd be corrupt or at least inept. And so any kind of enforcement of contract would be privatized. Justice would be privatized, meaning your commune delivered 8 bushels of wheat to the commune that's different than yours, and that commune didn't pay you, you go round up a posse and you have yourself a good old family feud. And then whether or not the cops showed up would be another matter. And yeah, it would just really suck. It would really suck. The best I could figure, South Africa is probably the most epitomal example of a low trust society that isn't dictatorial necessarily. And one that was dictatorial, I think, would be definitely East Germany, where you had everyone narking on each other with the Stasi. Um, I would even, you know what? Now that I think about it, I'd say Britain is like that now. The United Kingdom, right? You can't make fun with memes of different groups or people, right? You can't people will narc on each other, stab you in the back. I think there's an element to that. Can't trust anyone. I'd say that's kind of here. And the United States is going down that way too. I think more in the fact that we're a people not irrationally come here because you can make good money. It's a pretty good, easy place to make money. And that's not that they don't trust you. It's just we're here for business. We're not here to get involved in the community. I mean, look at all the immigrants who refuse to learn English, right? You're here for money. There's not like I want to become an American. Like, no, I want the money. Whether they're working for it, they're collecting welfare, and then all of our white women are like, "Oh my God, come in! Oh my God, I'm a good Minnesota Lutheran. I brought them all in here. Yes, yes." There you go. All right, we got any super chats? We got two. To the chickens, $2 in California. A cop arrested a fireman for saying no. For saying no? What do you mean a cop arrested? Yeah, to the chickens. What are you talking about? Cop arrested a fireman for saying no. No to what? No to a burger? No to a drink? No to sex? What do you say no to? Stuart Barton, 5 Australian. Is your new book, Zero World Problems, the sequel to A World Without Men? No, aka Economy One. No, the Economy One will be titled Economy One. However, to write the Economy of One, I got to write 2 more books, 3 in total. Zero World Problems is the first of those 3 that builds up to the Economy of One. Because I was looking at the Economy of One, I'm like, God dang, I gotta write 3 very distinct different chapters here and sum it up in the 4th. And I'm like, you know what? No, they really need to be standalone short books. The Economy One is coming though, and we're talking 5, 6 years out because I'm tired. I'm lazy. You should chat with Joker more often. Loved it. Yeah, no, it was a good time having Joker on and me being on his show too. God, dude, the numbers went through the roof. We had like almost 5,000 views in the 2 hours we podcasted. I'm like, God damn, man. The guy's just a freaking juggernaut, you know? I don't know if he realizes how big he is on the internet because he's so affable and relaxed and just a normal dude and not the slightest bit of arrogance at all. All right, there you guys go. Below, a book called Enjoy the Decline, Accepting and Living with the Death of the United States. I wrote this like 12 years ago. Oh my God, you're so negative. Oh my God, my wife divorced me and my kids cut their junk off and they hate me. Oh, if only there was somebody who was cynical enough to see the trends that were happening to predict that. Oh my God, I can't afford anything. Inflation. We need to raise more money and tax people more. Let's tax it 60%. That'll stop the inflation. Why aren't they can't afford the rent? I don't care anymore. I'm such a good economist. So good. See you guys later, Toodles.